All right, so just but on the topic of like culture of quality, one thing that drives me nuts is like Tariq was saying, right? Like I've given like 5 people hugs in the last 20 minutes. There's like a lot of culture of quality here at PNSQC, but what happens is we leave and we kind of lose that culture, right? Because some people don't answer people's emails. So what do? We all go back to our office and guess what we do? We've got an address field to test in our application, right? Trust me, we'll get there. So what do? What do we all do? We type in 1600 Pennsylvania, right? That's a good address to try, right? That's something that should work, everybody knows. And then we think, well, I'll use the office address, right? Because I'm there, I'm at work, kind of makes sense. Then we do our home address, right? Maybe, then you worry like, oh, now people at work know where I live. We're trying different test cases, trying to be creative, but we're doing it alone. So now what else are we going to do? We just spend the rest of the afternoon coming up with addresses. We're going to look things online. It's not funny. It's actually pretty sad, right? When you think about what we do. So you think about it, and you start grabbing random addresses. Then you start thinking about like all ones or all zeros or something like that. But that's kind of annoying, right? Kind of inefficient. What if there was a website where you can just go download a lot of really good address test cases? Right? So test cases that are labeled as valid, invalid, right? The longest address in the world. So what if these people up there that have access to a lot of addresses and good test cases, they've already written these test cases, could share them with the rest of us, right? So we don't have to spend that time coming up with them. And the crazy thing is, there's probably somebody out there that's better at address test cases than you are, right? So we hope, especially, yeah, Jenna, yeah. So imagine you just you go on the website, click download, and you get a spreadsheet full of awesome, juicy address test cases, right? So now guess what you have? The longest valid address, right? The shortest valid address. Somebody's saying you're not supposed to look at the slides, but, and invalid addresses. So a quick question for interactive question, so we get the interactive checkbox off of here. Can you think of any company that tests software that might have a lot of addresses? Just anyone come to mind? Yeah, FedEx. Amazon, thanks, Jen. I was talking about FedEx. So FedEx knows a lot about addresses, right? They have testers, full-time testers. I've met them. They're very, very smart. They care about test cases, right? And they care about addresses specifically. In fact, they have the addresses that are like the most bizarre addresses on the planet, the ones that are actually valid, but sometimes we can never deliver to them for some reason. They are the address experts. You are not, and I'm not, right? So the question is, how do we facilitate kind of this culture of quality and this community of quality? Well, let's get those folks at FedEx to upload their address test cases, right? This is not like super important IP. If you think about it too, addresses are actually public, right? It's kind of a funny thing about addresses. So the question is, how do we motivate these people to upload them for us, right? This is a thought that we're working on right now. It's an experiment for the community. It's open source and so on. But the idea is badge them, like on GitHub, right? So what if there's a place where you can create a profile, and every time you uploaded some useful test cases that other people liked and downloaded and used, you got some super score and a badge or something like that, right? And we kept track of how frequent you are in terms of uploading data and maintaining that data. So it'd be an awesome resource, right? It would save us all a lot of time. So this project's not just mocks and a dream. The API has actually been written. It's completely done. It's up on GitHub today. It's also hosted now on a server as of a couple weeks ago, and we're working on getting the UI and the CSS done. So this is going to be available soon. Here's the quick tease, just always to show real software running. This is just an HTML UI with no CSS, of course, or very little, creating an account and storing and sharing data. So that's just a quick preview. Cloud Gray. Shouts out to Cloud Gray. It's Jonathan Lip's company. He's the Appium king of Appium. And we've been working with Test AI to kind of open source this resource. And hopefully the world doesn't need to invent their addresses from scratch every day on our new products. Thanks.